Welcome to the Clutch Buckets Podcast. My name is Josh Tyson.
And I'm Kyle Spence. And this is our special guest.
I'm Bobby, man, over at Head Eye Podcast, man.
Welcome, man.
Welcome. Their profession, our passion, your court. Check ball. What's good, Bobby?
Man, ain't nothing. I'm blessed, man. Good Sunday.
Good Sunday indeed. What about you, Tyson? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good. Basketball season coming up, man. Me and Bobby coming off of a good couple of games last night, man. We playing this little church league, so man, we ready to get it in, man. What's good with you, Kyle?
I can't call it, man. I'm just here trying to get ready for October 22nd. These preseason games trying to hold me over.
Man, I hate how many. It's like 8 preseason games, dog. I'm tired of it.
8 preseason, but you notice that the Celtics out here just, got that 50-point win against the Philadelphia 76ers. So I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of that, even though it's
Are you a Celtics fan?
Oh, die hard right now,
hard.
man.
Oh, man.
The biggest fan you ever see, man.
I love it. That's fine. It's all good. We like the odds, you know what I'm saying? But we talking about a few things today, fellas. One of the things that we had a conversation about was players we thought that we were going to be superstars in this league. And we got a pretty healthy list here that I wanted to get your thoughts on. But before I even turn it over to the list, I'm wondering if there were any that stood out to you. So Tyson, what do you think?
Yo, just coming off the break, man. Yo, one of my all-time favorite players to watch, Michael Beasley. I mean, an absolute monster offensively. Now, I think he got some flack on the defensive end, but, going back, watching videos, man, pulling up stats, man, plus minus out there, he wasn't a slacker on defense either. I think his style of play, I think he was just never in the right situation, in the right organization that wanted to really work around him, put players around him, and let him just be his best self, because he is absolutely unstoppable in offense. It's crazy because you listen to all these other players who played alongside with him, and all they do is give him praise. They say one of the best one-on-one players out there. What y'all think?
Definitely.
What about you, Bobby? What you think?
I feel like at the time when he was young, I think he was like that liaison to carry on the new league. Like, the old league is defense, wins championship, offense wins games. A player that good, we've seen Michael Jordan play on both ends. We've seen Kobe play on both ends, and it worked because they can score and defend. But all those defensive teams, in the league today, you ain't gonna get those all defensive teams. So he was that good of a scorer in the new NBA that he didn't have to play that much defense. You know what I'm saying? So, and like you said, Tyson, that the system matters. It's always going to matter, no matter what you say. It's 30 teams, 30 different systems. He would have been good somewhere else on the East Coast, maybe Orlando, that would have played around him. They're good about stuff like that. But the Heat, with Spo being a young coach, and LeBron coming in, I think they had Patrick Beverley for a little bit before they cut him at that time. So it just wasn't going to work. It just wasn't.
Well, who stands out to you then, Bobby?
To me, Jabari Parker.
No.
Jabari Parker is the biggest one. Because that's when I started becoming more of a student of the game. I think I was a sophomore in high school when he got drafted. So I was watching probably the most basketball I could have been watching at that time. And him and I want to say Quay Parker at the time, who were supposed to, be pretty good. I feel like Jabari was going to be what we see as Giannis now, but with a little more perimeter game.
Do you think Giannis would have been who he was if Jabari Parker took it to the next level?
Not with that much steam, no.
You think that could have worked together?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, because those types of players, you need a perimeter player, you need an inside player. And it's never going to work if y'all are both. I mean, let me not, before I make a bad take, because the Splash Brothers. But even Clay, defensive, he locked down. But
true.
Yeah, it was going to work perfectly with Jabari being, he wouldn't have been the primary ball handler, but it would have worked out. I think it would have worked out. Not no finals appearances. I ain't gonna say that, but it would have worked.
You know who it would be for me actually would be John Wall. I don't know why. I think it was because of his speed, his ability to get to the basket. And then, of course, when you get a signature shoe under your name, then you really feel like, okay, you're about to blossom into that superstar status.
Yeah.
Never had a good shot. But he just had this ability to kind of mimic what I saw in Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook. And he even had the Dougie down pack and the little flex thing that
Oh
he
yeah.
used to be doing back then.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, he's a burgeoning superstar in this league.
The confidence
Uh,
was there too.
the confidence was there. He had the
Mm.
swagger
Yeah.
and what they call it now, what aura. No one cares about that. But he did
Yeah.
have that like ability to kind of impact the game, even from just a verbal standpoint. But nothing ever came of it. Injuries have certainly been harping a lot of these individuals that we're seeing here. But even with injuries aside, you can look at someone like Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose was a superstar in the league despite his
Oh man.
injuries. You know what I mean? Um, and I think they always consider him a star at all times until probably when he got to like the Pistons, and you're like, okay, now you're just
Right.
you're a
Play.
player in the league.
Yeah.
You're a plug and play player in the league.
Right.
Yeah, true.
But I'm gonna go through this list. I want to hear a couple of your thoughts. Now, we're gonna start with, of course, a Celtic, a former Celtic, and I thought that was apropos. And in this case, it's Isaiah Thomas, the 5'9" giant out here. What are your thoughts? Do you feel as though you thought you were gonna be a superstar? Go
For
ahead,
sure.
Charlie.
I think let me see, at his peak was he 28, 29 points until that
Yeah,
hip injury, man. Uh
yeah.
I'm gonna go on a bad take, good take, and say that 2016 when he was on the Cleveland Cavaliers, they still owe him that ring. They didn't give him that ring, and I feel like they owe him that at least.
Mm.
Yeah,
The Celtics owe him a lot more. I feel not to like, go down,
that's right.
talk down
That's
on the
right.
Celtics. I feel like
No,
they owe
real
him a lot
talk.
more
Real
as far
talk.
as the injury process of coming back. But I feel like, once they figure out they were gonna get Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, I feel like that was just
Mm.
you move on. You just move on from it.
Business.
And yeah, business. It's always gonna be a business. It's never anything personal. And then he suffered because of it, and the injury just stayed. And the what ifs is what ifing.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I agree
Yeah.
with that. That's one of the things I can say about the Celtics that we did not handle correctly. As soon as we knew that he was injured, we like, yeah, we need to get him up and out of here as fast as we can. And I
Yo.
didn't think that was cool at all.
Not at all, man. Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you, Kyle. The Celtics were on my basketball hit list for a long time, man. After
Yeah,
that, man, I couldn't wait to see y'all lose. Because what
true.
y'all did to that boy, man, because it was tough because of how that boy played through his sister
Mhm.
dying, too. Like,
Yeah.
not just the injury, but his sister was dying. Like, he played through it all. I mean, he gave y'all, but that year was one of the best years I've seen from a guy that size what he was
Mhm.
doing. Remember in the playoff series for John Wall and them?
Absolutely.
I
Come
mean,
on.
man, he was absolutely killing. He was a monster, bro. He was blossoming to that next level. If he didn't get injured that year, he would have got a max
Mhm.
contract. It would have been
Oh yeah,
it would have been a wrap. He was unstoppable. And man, I think he was never able to get back to that level because of what the Celtics did. I think if the Celtics would have retained him, I think he could have gotten back to that level. But
Yeah.
I think mentally, because he was thrown to the wayside, I think that affected him on a whole different mental side. That affects a player because now you don't believe me. Now I don't think anybody else really believes in me. And I think
Mhm.
that
yep,
affects, a lot of cats' games. It's not like he don't have the skills anymore, man. It's just that that mental attitude, like I'm that guy. Because he was that dude. He
yeah.
was
Mhm.
that cat, bro. And bro, that was tough, man. It was tough to see because they traded him for what Kyrie. And, I mean, Celtics got
Yeah,
what
we
they
see how that
deserve,
panned out.
right? Celtics got what they
Yeah,
deserve with that,
If you
man.
were a GM, though, you're not taking that?
no,
Really?
no
Especially nah,
Based on personality or based on skill set?
Kyrie's not a
skill
leader. We
set
saw that.
at
Yeah.
that time. Skill
Wow.
set.
Mm,
I'm taking Kyrie on skill set, but not on
mm,
personality though.
Yeah,
nah.
no, I mean, Isaiah shows up and he hoops, bro, and it's Boston at the end of the day. So you can't handle that Boston crowd. You can't handle Boston. And that's just what
Facts.
it is. Like, like Tyson said, the city was behind him. The city believed in him. But one thing that I started, paying attention to is what I watched on the Gil on Gil's Arena, bro. Is when a player gets injured and the doctor says, he's gonna be out for 8 months. They'll have somebody, the trainer go tell the player, say, you'll be back in, 4 to 6 weeks, stuff like
Mhm.
Mm,
that. Yeah, it's a dirty world out here,
That's a
man.
dirty
mm,
game. I
man.
don't
Dirty
like
game.
that
That's
at
how it
all.
happened with Robert Williams third.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Oh,
Stuff
that's
Time
like that
right.
Lord,
happens, dog.
man.
Yeah.
You
We
remember
want
him?
him back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we want him back too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as far as Celtics fans, we like,
He
if
got
y'all
hurt,
gonna
and what
bring
y'all
this
do?
man back, come on now.
I'm
All
telling you,
right.
Celtics got a
Well,
bad rep with that type of stuff,
Hey,
dog.
dude.
all right, we ain't about not too much on the Celtics, yo. We
I'm
just
just saying, I
started. We
love the
just
Celtics,
warming
man.
up.
They were my favorite player used to be Larry Bird, dog, but I can't let this go unpunished, man.
Okay. All
Ever since
right,
'08,
we
y'all been
got
acting
it.
spooky since '08, and I ain't
Hey, spooky and winning championships, we'll take it. But I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
two in the 2000s is not
Hold on, who's your team, Bobby? Let me
the
find
Bulls,
out.
man.
Oh no, come on now. You
Hey,
can't be
come on, guy.
talking
Don't go
about
too
two in the
hard, man.
2000s. Ooh,
Come on,
I
guy.
don't
No,
know.
Don't go there,
I'll get
brother.
analytical in
All
here.
right, we'll break it
Not
down. We'll break it
analytics
down
don't give
fully.
you rings on this, Bobby, but I hear you. I'm not discounting what
All
you
right, let's
said.
go with
We're gonna have
at y'all's
to
time that y'all had rings when it was more than 20 teams. Let's go by that.
we doing those type of stats?
That's
That's
what I
like
said.
BC versus AD. I don't know if we want to do those type
Let's
of
say
stats.
past 73. How many rings have y'all won? Let
The
me say
one that
post
just
merger,
happened, yes,
79. How many
last
rings have y'all
year.
won?
This year, I'm sorry, on this year. That's all I want to know. We got the
Oh,
most rings in the
recency
league. That's
bias.
all we need to know. Hey,
What you
18
say?
is
What have you
more than
done for
any
me
other.
lately?
That's all I know. I
No,
know
y'all
those
did great.
type
I
of
was rooting. I
math.
was rooting for y'all the whole series. I ain't gonna
Oh,
lie.
we
Yeah. Versus
appreciate
It's the
that.
only
Lakers.
time.
Yeah, I'm with
It's the
that.
only year I was bleeding green.
Well, I appreciate that. Now we're gonna go to another one on this list.
Who we got?
Tobias Harris, aka J. Cole. What do
Man, you
y'all
supposed
think
to be the
about him?
man, wasn't he? Shh,
He's too complacent, bro. That's
way
his
too.
problem.
You ain't got that dog
Almost,
in him, man.
almost like the Jeff Teague, bro. You just he got too complacent with his 15 to 17 points and just
That's it.
I get my
And he was
100.
getting
You
his
know,
he was getting his money too. Like you said, yeah.
yeah. Today in this new NBA, you
Mm,
you average 15 points, you a $200 million player, and
easy.
Yeah, and that's
that's
what
what
he
they want.
did. He was like he reminds me of Trevor Ariza,
Mm,
where
that's
it's
perfect.
just kind of like, this
That's perfect.
three and quote unquote D, but Trevor Ariza
Mm,
actually had a better defensive prowess than he
all day.
does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But he just flies under the radar. I know that we probably heard that terminology against Tobias Harris before, but it really sticks. He
Mm-mm.
flies right under the radar, gets paid, and simply doesn't show up. He's not the person that you rely on in any clutch position.
Never.
You just kind of have him on the court, and he just kind of does his Cephalosha,
Mm.
Ariza type of game. And I'm
I
like,
feel old hearing about
okay,
Cephalosha, boy.
Man, what throwback? Yo, but that's the problem though, man. He you can't rely on him in clutch situations, but at the same time, he doesn't ask for it. He doesn't want
Hmm.
to be that guy.
It doesn't
And that's
show.
what I'm
yeah,
saying. That's a mentality. Because
Now,
really, the
boom.
Sixers went in thinking he was that guy. That's why they was paying him. They're
Yeah.
like, I
mhm,
bet he's gonna be our next guy. This is where we're gonna put our money in. We're gonna put players around him. And that dude just never panned out. Like I can not a leader, not a guy, doesn't even want the ball. This dude in all the way in the left corner, at the end of the
Just
game
waiting.
while the ball is in the right corner. He's just sitting there like, oh, okay. Who wants it next?
yep.
I
Now
don't want
wait.
it.
Now boom. Now plug Mike Beasley right where he's at.
That
Oh,
part. That part.
that's easy.
Easy.
You get
That's
the
Easy
easy.
same, you
work.
get the same play and add 5 points. Like, easy money.
Easy
And
money.
Mike Beasley's in the league for another 13 years. Like,
Easy.
Facts.
Easy. And he's calling for it. He's calling. He's like, no,
yeah,
no, no.
Yeah.
Let me holler at that. I'm here for it. And he's gonna shoot the next 5 shots. Make a
yeah.
miss.
No
He gonna
conscience. He
miss.
has no conscience when it comes
None
to
whatsoever.
that.
But I love it though, man. I love that
There
mentality,
needs to
bro.
be a
That
documentary
dog.
on Michael Beasley at this point. I really
Man.
want to
Yeah,
hear his story.
I'll watch it
Yo,
4 times.
I watched a couple interviews, man, and I feel for that guy, man, because he knows how great it's tough, man, knowing how great you are and not able to showcase that talent.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why we
That's
have Lance
man,
Stevenson and IT in the D League right now, trying to, get back.
it's tough,
Yeah.
man. It's
And
tough,
it's
especially when you going out on a regular basis and
mm,
giving buckets to current NBA players. You know you
Mhm.
better than half of these cats out there. They can't
Mhm.
touch you. Did y'all watch him in the Big Three?
I call
Didn't he
highlights
get
of it.
MVP or no? He said he
Yeah.
got MVP, but he didn't want that. He wanted to get the dub, right?
Yeah, he won the dub. Yeah, they lost in the championship, but he got the MVP. Easy, man. Easy work. Light work out there, man. Absolutely killing, man.
I feel like the
Absolutely
big
killing.
thing with him also is mental health, which is something that isn't talked about in the NBA. a lot of
Yeah.
players succumb to that, and you know, it carries over to the injuries and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I like how I said, it's the business.
Yeah.
You know, they're not worried about business when it's your mental health, man. You show up, you lace them up, and you play. And that's it. We paying you 100 million, you give us 100 million worth of dollars worth of play.
Yeah.
Now, what about Ben Simmons? Now, this is someone who is still currently in the league, and he is always on his comeback season. I never heard a fifth comeback season as much as this guy, but I want to hear
His
your thoughts
IG
on
videos
him.
be hilarious, dog. And all you show is you shoot 3-point shots, dog. You don't take nothing in the game. Why are you showing the same videos, bro? I don't understand, especially if you ain't gonna do it in the game. You ain't done the last 5 years. Now, like, I don't know. It's tough on all sides because I heard him come out the other day, man, talk about how people be ragging on him, even though he's injured. He's but a lot of times, man, I understand physical injuries and I respect the mess out of them. But we know for a fact that a lot of this is mental because we see
True.
you weren't injured coming out that series when you played against Trae Young and them. You weren't injured coming back that next year for real. That wasn't physical injuries. That was mental fortitude all day. We know that broke your spirit on a mental cable. That broke your spirit, man. So the injuries, the physical nature of it, man, I understand it, but we know what the real issue is here. That's my take, bro.
I agree. I agree 100%, man. Ben Simmons was supposed to be what we like the new LeBron, bro. 6'10", point guard, run the floor. He should have did, I feel like, what Lonzo Ball was doing in a shooting coach, and we don't see you again until your shot is where it needs to be. We didn't see
That part.
Lonzo Ball again until he got his shot together. He wasn't injured or nothing. He went in the summer, year after year, he trained. You know what I'm saying? Ben Simmons was what, an easily 15, 8, and 8 guy. All defensive teams. All defensive teams. So he's doing it on both sides. You know, but crowds, that Philly crowd, you let that crowd in and you cooked. There's nothing else you can do about it. You know, you let them in. And to see, somebody like your counterpart, Joel Embiid, you would feel like he would kind of, give him like some words of wisdom. You would feel like the organization would still be behind you after that. But it felt like they just kind of threw him to the side. Like, you aren't what we're looking for at this time.
Yo.
Do you think that the personality clashes?
Yeah, when you play, he played for a prestigious school. You know what I'm saying? What did he play for? Mount Verde? And all the D1 people go to that school anyway, Mount Verde or Oak Hill or something. So when you go to a school like that and you're told all these great things your whole life, and then you get to the league where somebody can tell you no, it's like the little kid, the kid that get told yes, all this candy. And you go to your grandma's house, your grandma tell you no. You don't want to be there no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
After that, you see how reality can come set in, and then after that, it's all she wrote.
But I think that spoiled nature right there is what has hampered him this whole time. Because, man, even college recruiters, a lot of people were saying, like, these recruits are like, yo, yeah, we see he has these basketball skills, but you see he has a lack of passion for the game. He has a lot of people around him, a lot of yes men around him saying, you're already great. So you don't need to do anymore. So he got in that league. He got into the league with that mentality. Like, I'm already good. I don't need to improve. I don't need to develop a shot. I don't need to shoot these shots in the game. I'm already 15, 8, and 8. What can you tell me now? And I think that right there, going in with that mentality, especially with all these people behind you, with that spoiled nature, like you're already great. You're constantly hearing that. In his mind, this dude, I mean, he's going back to his college days. Yo, I'm the best of the best already. Yeah, I just got injuries, but I don't need to improve upon anything. I hate the nature, the current state of the basketball mentality right now, man, because that's where it's at. It's like, yo, I don't need to improve my game. I love, that's why me personally, I love the 90s basketball mentality, because if I have a weakness, all I'm doing is improving on that weakness. Jordan had no handles coming into the game. He got some handles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then he put his weight up too.
Got his weight up. I think that was a problem with John Wall. John Wall, a lot of times that boy couldn't go left. He didn't work on going left, a lot of times. So I think, man, especially with Ben Simmons, if Ben Simmons really worked on his mentality, really was seeing counselor and changed his mentality to where I'm going to be greater every day, develop a shot and improve. I'm not great. I'm not great. I'm not on that level that I need to be. I think he'd be great. I think he would be great, but that whole mentality has to change, man.
So has that ship sailed? Like, do you think he still has the opportunity to still be great, or do you believe that he simply is no longer going to be that?
I'll give him 3 years.
You giving him 3 more years?
I got a lot of hope in him, man. I feel like, and Tyson, you could, agree or disagree on this also. He missed a timeline. When he left, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. He left the Sixers and went to the Nets.
Yeah.
And the Sixers got Pat Beverly. And Pat Beverly got Joel Embiid in that gym. And then before Joel Embiid got hurt, he was giving us 37 and 11.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Now, you keep Ben Simmons, bro. You got Pat Bev. That's that one, people like him is who you need in that locker room. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna tell you no. They're gonna tell you no way more than they're gonna tell you yes.
Yeah, that's true.
So those are the type of locker room guys you need, at the Thanasis. The locker room guys that are sitting at the end of the bench that aren't doing much. And Pat Beverly isn't sitting at the end of the bench. He's great in his own right. But those are the type of players that, you miss that timeline. You don't have it. There's not 30 of those guys.
You know the dog they needed? Jimmy Butler. They should have kept
Tobias Harris over me.
Talking about one of the
that
worst
was the
mistakes
best quote at that time, man.
Right.
I still love Jimmy Butler. I hated him for a little bit when he elbowed Derrick Rose in the eye, but I've come to love him.
Yeah.
I don't like Jimmy Butler at all.
You got to respect the dog. You got to respect.
That's another story for another day.
You got to respect that hunger, though.
Starting 5 on Netflix ain't making me like him any much better at this point either, but I haven't finished it, so maybe I'll come around on that topic. Now, we're looking at James Wiseman. This is a newer cat in the league, once played for the Golden State Warriors. I believe he now plays for the Detroit Pistons. Had a pretty decent stint once he went to Detroit, but very underwhelming as far as expectation in the league. Then they sent him to the G League too, to kind of, you need to get some conditioning. I believe not the Detroit, but Golden State.
Yeah.
I think they sent him to the G League and then brought him back and then sent him away. But what are your thoughts on him? Do you really think that he could have been a superstar in this league?
No.
I don't know, man. So, you go ahead first, Bob. I'm going to go into it in a second.
I'm going to say no. I don't. But I do feel like Golden State fumbled him. I feel like he's maybe like I'm about to say a lot of bad stuff on him. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not hating, but just bear with me, guys. I feel like he's at least like a 10-year guy in the league. We don't, you get a few of those here and there. You see his first year at Golden State, and that's the system. It's a system he wasn't, it wasn't for him to play in. I think he had 7 points his first year, 11 points his second year. Went to Detroit, or he probably went to the G League in between there. Went to Detroit, had a 12-point season with like 8 rebounds, and then like back down to like 6 or 7 points. That's 4 years, bro. And granted, he probably has some injuries because he played like 30 games, 39 games, 80 games, or no, 39 games, 60 games, and like 40, then 60 again. So, going from a system that probably can't really use you or don't know how to use you, and it's Steve Kerr at the end of the day. Not to on his coaching, but it's Steve Kerr. We can't trust him to like mold a guy like a Greg Popovich would do, So yeah. Not hating on James Wiseman, but he wasn't gonna be a superstar, whether we like it or not, bro.
Man, I think I have to agree with that because I don't like the narrative. I don't like the storyline that the Warriors don't know how to develop young players. I think that's the key
they
going
do,
around.
just not centers,
right? And centers, but even with James Wiseman, okay, cool. If y'all want to make that contention, right? Then that means when he went to Detroit, it was a terrible team to where anybody with any type of talent could have really dominated, right? He went to Detroit, and week after week, his minutes declined to where he started coming off the bench. If you can't start and dominate on a squad like Detroit, what does that really say about your game?
They're also rebuilding.
They're rebuilding.
too. Yeah.
and they're better.
Yeah. Because
So
I remember when Blake Griffin went to Detroit,
Oh,
he was hooping.
he was balling.
he was, man. Made me think about the 2012, 2013, 2014 Clippers, man. Seeing
Yeah.
him out there.
So that's a good point. That's a very
Yeah.
good point. I don't think he could have been a superstar in this league. I definitely agree with Bobby on that.
Mhm.
He's a 10-year center.
Yeah.
He
You think about
gives
him the same as
me
Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney
Kevon
supposed to be the
Looney,
next. He's supposed to be the
JaVale
next KD,
McGee.
and look at him.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
that's
you
true.
have a role, you play the role. But man, they hyped him. Man, they hyped
Big
this
time,
dude. So
bro.
I really
Big
thought that he
time.
was really going to be bigger than what he was. And it seems to be, according to what I remember, it was an attitude problem. Like he had a lazy mentality,
Mm,
I can see
and
that.
he just didn't want to put in the work. So
mm.
either way, he's still in the league. Hopefully, he can do something about that. Um, but this is somebody who is no longer in the league in OJ Mayo. Now, this is for those who were born after the year 2000. You may not remember this particular person that well, but OJ Mayo was a Memphis Grizzly person before he went to, was it the Mavs and then the Bucks, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was averaging about 18 points a game in his
Mm.
first. I think he got Rookie of the Year, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
when he got in the league.
What year was that?
Uh, pardon me?
08, 09, maybe?
08, 09. That's right.
One
That's
of
Mm.
those
right.
years, yeah. About to say, because that was
So,
Curry and them's year when they were getting
yeah,
drafted.
Yeah.
yeah. Do you really think that OJ Mayo could have been a superstar in this league?
Oh, that's right. So he was runner up. He lost to Derrick Rose. Okay.
I'm about
In
to
that
say,
rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
D
yeah, yeah.
Rose, my bad.
Yeah, I could have sworn my
Yeah.
boy got that that
I
year.
know he was in
Yeah.
contention,
Yeah,
but
he
Yeah.
yeah,
was.
05 to '09 is like a
couldn't win over
blurry
no Derrick
time.
Rose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think he really could have been a superstar?
Yes. The league was
Okay.
point guard heavy at that time. So they were looking, like every team was looking
Mm.
for a scoring point guard. All of them were
Mhm.
coming in. Um, I got to do my Stephen A. Smith. Stay off the weed. Come
Yeah.
on, dog. You gotta. That's one of
Yeah.
his big things.
Yeah.
That weed, bro. Him and Tyreek Evans. Y'all gotta.
We gonna get to him. Same
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
man.
yeah. Y'all can't.
Yeah.
But I think that goes to maturity. Is this thing that Michael Jordan said? Is you're paying these kids off potential, which
Mhm.
Mm.
everything that they could potentially give you, and you're not paying them off what you see. You're paying them
Mm.
off what you see maybe in college or high school.
Mm.
You're not paying them off what you see in the league, and
What
that's
they've
that's been a
done.
big problem I think for the past since 2000. Honestly, I feel like it is because we see like a lot of people between 2000 and now have not panned out. 4 or 5 years, and they get their 100 mil, they're out the league.
Mhm.
Um, no maturity, no vets around you. The system,
That part.
they fail
Yeah.
you. They fail you quickly. You know what I'm saying? And then practice at 11. You got all day to make bad decisions after 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and we see what decisions he decided to make, and you were out the league soon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
What about you, Tyson?
Man, I think that was key. I think every team that is drafting a rookie that's supposed to have great potential needs to, right along with it, if they don't already, have a veteran leader in that locker room. I think that is essential because these are kids coming up out of college. They're coming off
Mhm.
of college, man. They talking about straight partying, man. Everybody's showing them love. They know nothing about professionalism going into
Mhm.
it. They don't know about that aspect of it. They don't know about taking care of their body. They don't know about, laying off the drug. They don't know about all those aspects that go into being a professional and really making it to that next level. So I think that's really what happened to him, man. That veteran leadership, man. You didn't have anybody in his ear like, yo, you need to do this, you need to do this. I think that was the problem with Ben Simmons too. Nobody checked this dude come into the door. Like, yo, bro,
Mhm.
nah, bro, you're not already great. Like you need to earn this, my dude. Like you,
Yeah,
you need to do these things to get to this next level, man. And OJ was one of them, man. It was tough to see.
Sadly, I guess. I mean, I agree. I don't know if I would say superstar the more that I think about it, but he would have been a star in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But regardless, his impact as far from the point guard perspective, from that guard position, he was one of them ones. That's as in the words of Jeff Teague. He loves to say that he was cold.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
now, if you talk about Cole, you talk about Tyreek Evans. That's who you
That's a
talk about when
bucket
you,
getter right there,
my
bro.
goodness, the handles, the ability to make plays,
yeah.
Sacramento King alum, where he was, I can't remember what his stats were, honestly, but I know that he had 20 points in his first year in the league, and
They
then
went down.
like 8
Uh,
years later, Bobby, this man got most improved or was in the most improved conversation because he went back up to 19 points after having a steep decline over the years
yeah.
in his points per game. Just it's not even on minutes. It was just simply he just wasn't doing what he wanted to, was he supposed to do. And he focused up when he got to Memphis and was also back in the talks. It's like, is this guy back for real?
Mm-hmm.
But Tyreek Evans, he really was one of those people that I could have seen him being a superstar if he
Mhm.
had the right team around him, if he had the right focus. Yeah, he really was a great player in my opinion. What
Yeah,
are
He was
your
a
thoughts
dog.
on him?
He was a dog. You can go ahead, Tyson.
no, I was just gonna say, man. I mean, that goes back to that veteran leadership, man. Understand what to do because them drugs got him. He got dismissed out the league for it, and he was never the same afterwards, man. And I
Mhm.
think that time off was even worse for him, man. I don't think, man. I think he went to a dark place during that time, man. That was
Yeah.
he might have got deeper into the drugs during that time, man. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know.
I'm not even laughing at what you said, Tyson, but for
Mm.
some reason, when Shannon Sharp reminded me when Derrick Rose left and came back, he said, the man came back with dreads. Like, that's how I remind myself of Tyreek.
Chicago dude, bro.
But it's like he came back with a family and dreads. Like, what's
Shannon,
going on?
wow, bro.
Man,
Right.
J.R.
Whole
Ryder.
different.
J.R.
Hey,
Ryder.
I was just
Golly.
thinking about that as you was talking about the drugs, another person. But
Yes.
to caveat off what Tyson was saying, man, one thing a lot of people didn't see at that time is positioning. You know, they tried to say this thing, which I hate when they say it, because not it's people that never played the game, but the position was
positionless
basketball.
basketball.
So you already know I'm about to steam coming out my ears, dog. It still has positions, but they moved him positions. And just a
Hmm.
simple shooting guard to point guard
Mhm.
made that steep that you were
Yeah.
talking about, Kai.
Yeah.
Just that simple playing off the ball. Now we're gonna give you the ball.
Right.
And that just we seen it with Monte Ellis and Curry.
Hmm.
Curry
Mhm.
was a shooting guard. As a matter of fact, we seen it with LeBron. LeBron came in as a shooting guard. People don't know that. He came in as a shooting guard. Shooting guard, small forward, and let me give you the ball. You know what I'm saying? So just a simple position switch will, make or break you really in those
Yeah.
types of situations. I mean, I agree with everything you guys said. Also, that to caveat off of that, also, your numbers go down. You go to somewhere, like Memphis, or he was also on the Pelicans, wasn't he? And
Yeah,
Hmm.
he was.
you can play off the ball again. Teams like we know what you've done, so this is how we want you to play it. When your numbers were at their highest, and it almost worked out before he got, things got a little shaky.
Yeah. Now, I don't know why we sticking with guards as much as we are, but it really does say that there was just a great crop
Really
of
was.
guards in this league that really could have been on that superstar level. And one of them,
Yeah.
again, Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy had one of the shortest stints that I could remember in this league where this man was putting up almost 20 points a game, averaging over his 5 to 6 year career.
Yeah.
Gave Kobe
Uh,
problems.
Mad
oh
problems.
my
He said he was one of the
goodness.
hardest ones to guard because he had no weaknesses. Kobe
Hmm.
said he had no weaknesses. And he gonna
Strong
look
too.
for him.
He was
Strong.
strong.
Yeah, you know he's
Yeah.
looking for him. And for him to have such a talent, and he really was like the Blazers they were in the conversation, like, could they actually win it? Um, Who was
Yeah.
with him? Was it Greg Oden? Was he
Greg
also on that
Oden,
team with
who
them,
we
right?
need to add to the could have beens.
Could have been.
Yeah.
He would have given me that
Yeah.
James Wiseman type of
Zach
time.
Randolph, I
But
think, was also with them. Zebo was
Yeah.
with
who
them,
was
wasn't he?
that?
Was Zebo with him?
I think so. Or was
Zach
he
Randolph?
after or before?
No, I
I
don't
think
think
Zebo was with
Randolph
the
was
I
early
don't
there.
2000s
Yeah, yeah.
Trailblazers. My bad. With Rasheed Wallace and him.
Yo, but that
Yeah.
squad that they had, bro,
They
bro,
were
if they
getting
would
They had
have,
a
equal
squad, bro.
fits.
man, they would have given
They had a
people
squad.
major problems, man. But man, oh
Greg Oden
boy.
played in high school with Michael Conley Jr.
Hmm.
Oh yeah,
They were,
yeah,
yeah, they was
yeah. They had that chemistry. Yeah, but Roy, man, he had what surgery on both of his knees, man.
yeah, both his
Same
knees. Yeah,
time.
once you get both knees,
It's a wrap.
it's a
It's
wrap.
a
The
wrap. What you
same thing with
doing?
Jabari Parker.
Yeah,
Jabari
That's
Parker
both
tore his
knees
ACL in
too.
both his knees, bro.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Just hang it
That's
up.
yeah, you got it,
Yeah,
bro. I mean, one knee you can, possible,
yeah.
Right.
but two, yeah,
I think what
And
was so
then
deadly
the
about
advancement of the surgery now with technology and things of that nature, they didn't have that back
Mhm.
then. And because I think I used to look at Brandon Roy, and then when I saw when Russell Westbrook and Pat Bev, that I think that's probably where my first beef with Pat Beverly started, but I digress. When he dove for the ball down
Oh
against Russell
yeah,
Westbrook's knee.
yeah,
yeah.
I
yeah.
thought for
That's over
sure,
the
because
top.
again, looking at Brandon Roy and all these others, I'm like, he's done.
Mhm.
He ain't gonna have it no more.
Mhm.
I was wrong.
Yeah,
This dude is still
yeah,
explosive and things of that
yeah.
nature, but I
Strong,
just
bro.
don't feel as
Durability.
yes. And I just didn't feel like Brandon Roy had that. Unfortunately, he just came at a bad time
Yeah.
where advancement wasn't where it was and things of that nature. But that person, that player, he was certainly one of them. But
He
I'm
was a
sorry, I digress.
no. I mean, he was unstoppable. I mean, you talking
Yeah.
about big, strong, and the pull up was crazy. Nobody
Yeah,
could stop that
to be
pull
that
up.
strong.
We to be that strong, to be able to go into your body, step back, and
Hmm.
pull up. I mean, already you're already thinking he gonna blow by you.
Hmm.
So all it takes one dribble and a pull up, and the lift he had on his shot where he could shoot over
Hmm.
everybody was nasty work, man.
He jumped
Yeah.
high on his
Left,
shot. Oh my God.
left,
I know his
right.
legs is tired.
Man,
Yeah.
his knees got tired real quick.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
That's
that's just
tough.
time, like Kyle said, man. The time, because I remember I read this article about Dennis Smith Jr.
Hmm.
and I think he
Mm,
tore his ACL, but he was back in Duncan in like less than a year because he has a 1 in a million. It's a 1 in a million thing. He has an extra ligament in his knee,
mm.
Wow.
so that ligament didn't tear.
Right.
So the doctor was saying only a 1 in a million people have this extra ligament in their knee.
Wow.
So that ACL injury was basically like, a regular, like it wasn't even as bad of the tear as it would
Right.
be for somebody who don't have that extra ligament in their knee.
That is amazing. I
Did not
never
know
heard
about
of
that.
that.
Never heard
Man,
that
I'm
either.
telling you,
I'm out of ligaments, guys. I don't have any.
yeah, I
So
don't got
that
it. I ain't
must
even
be
got it on me, bro.
nice. Now we're gonna switch gears. So we're looking at like real time. We're looking at one of the major trades that have occurred recently, which is Karl Anthony-Towns to the New York Knicks in
Man.
exchange for was it DiVincenzo
Yeah, bro.
and what was the
Randall.
other person? Yes, Julius Randle.
Brand of all people.
And
I ain't see that one
Tyson and
coming.
I had this conversation some episodes back because we were asking the question, where do you put Julius Randle? Like, does he even fit? Because it seems as though they were playing better when he was absent.
All right.
And now they have released him and they got back a three-point center
Spreads the flow.
who could spread the floor, who's good on defense, who can actually have control the ball when necessary. He's a
Yeah.
playmaker, all of these things, but he had to give up again, Randall and DiVincenzo in the
Mhm.
process. Do you think, Bobby, that this was a good trade?
Um, at first glance, it wasn't. I'm gonna tell
Mm.
you right now. When I seen it at
Uh,
first glance, but I had to gloss over. You put them head to head. Cat and Julius Randle. Cat is better than him by light years, honestly. Julius Randle, I think the big thing for me, no matter what his numbers are, I feel like the biggest thing for me is always going to be possessions, and he's a turnover machine, bro.
All day.
And he has bad timing with his shots, when to take it, when not to take it, because he's always aggressive, you know what I'm saying? And that's good. If you don't learn how to, when to be aggressive offensively, and all the things. But the big thing is you always turn the ball over, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You always. So those are possessions lost. Especially if you're not going to get back on defense. Not to say that he doesn't, but you're not going to get back on defense on all those turnovers. So you giving away 2 and 3 points, that's a 5-point sway in a matter of seconds. All because you want the ball in your hands. And I
At
can't.
all times.
I say it's a good one. Not for the Timberwolves.
Right.
Getting those two, because we already know who the big man in the house is, my boy AE. But the Knicks can, not to say that they're gonna beat you guys in the playoffs if they do meet y'all, the Celtics, but I feel like this is like the one of many chances that the East might have to dethrone the Celtics in the playoffs. I feel like.
I agree. Yeah. I agree with that. They're
not gonna beat them, but
right.
They got a
They're
chance.
not. They have a chance.
They're not. Nobody's beating them.
I love the confidence, guy. I love the confidence.
Well, it's all thanks to Bobby. Go ahead.
Real talk. I think this was a D- for the Timberwolves because, what was the issue with the Timberwolves last season? It was clogging up the paint. Anthony Edwards can't get in there. No spacing whatsoever. So Cat Williams opened that up. I mean, you still got
Cat Williams.
I was gonna let him keep talking before I said anything.
Appreciate y'all. I was just watching his interview the other day. That's why I had him. So, Cat opened up the floor, but of course you still got Gobert in there, which was clogging up the paint all day. Yeah. Now you got Gobert and Randall in the paint.
Yeah,
you're never gonna do a layup again.
So now, what you gonna have? Anthony Edwards just shooting threes all day, and long mid ranges. Like, bro, he can't.
The Timberwolves are gonna blame him for his numbers. Watch. The Timberwolves are gonna be like, your numbers aren't.
You gotta blame Timberwolves management, bro. These niggas need to be fired all day. Like, that was terrible,
Gobert, bro.
It was an A+ for the Knicks because now they got spread the floor. So you increase your defense because Cat is a much better defender than Randall. You open up the floor so Brunson could get up in there. And bro, like, Cat isn't a selfish player all day. Randall, he, like you said, Bobby, he needs that rock all day. Like, his basketball IQ, Randall's basketball IQ is terrible with shot making. He can't pass the rock at all. Unless he getting double teamed, then he finally has to pass that thing. He's not finding anybody, bro. He's not looking at anybody cutting. He's terrible. So, but Knicks was off chain. Now, I will say, I would not have got rid of DiVincenzo because, those your college players right there, man. This is chemistry. You got 4 players who play college ball together. Chemistry, Bobby, you already know. Me and Kyle talked about it last time. You go into a random gym, pick a ball, you play with some players. You don't know if you're gonna win or not. You don't know how these cats play. It's not the same swag, bro. But you go in to a spot with your whole squad, it's a different level of confidence, bro. They're gonna play with that confidence every single game. Every game they're gonna come out like they down by 15 in the fourth. In their minds, we got this. We just
it's still 0-0 to them. Yeah.
Still 0-0, bro. It's a different level. They should have kept DiVincenzo. They should have got whoever else you need to get rid of. Everybody outside that 4, you get rid of. But DiVincenzo, not the one, man. Now, I know there was some rumors about him worried about minutes he was going to get and stuff like that. I don't know. That wasn't true. I don't believe that.
That's what I was hearing, too, because he said he was not feeling the Villanueva, class reunion, but I don't know how true that is. It could be coming from a salty place because you got traded, and so now you're retaliating with these thoughts. But DiVincenzo was a good person to have on the Knicks.
Oh,
man.
Great!
That was a pretty big pickup for the Timberwolves, but I don't think they're gonna use him because you have shooters that are going to improve. And Jaden McDaniels and, who else? Nas Reed. Right. So you have these shooters that are going to improve, but they got size on them and they're already defensive minded. You're kind of getting a pinch in the height and the size when you have DiVincenzo there. but he can be great off the bench. But DiVincenzo doesn't want to come off the bench. You know what I mean? So who are you going to
Yeah.
plug and play him with in the starting five on Minnesota?
Nobody.
Yeah.
First round exit.
Right.
Right.
So,
You know what I'm saying? So
please explain to me the mentality. If you a GM of Timberwolves, what's your mentality picking up Randall? Like what positives do you see? I don't get that, bro.
it's
I
an
think they're still
asset.
riding off of that him playing with Kobe thing. They think that all these players who used to play on the Lakers with Kobe had this they just inherited some type of Mamba mentality, bro. And I feel like they're still riding the coattail on that.
Right. And I feel as though he's a trade asset. I don't
Mhm.
think that they're going to keep him long term. They just look like, nah, we can
Yeah.
work with this for this period of time, trade him away and get something better that we could develop. Julius Randle was always someone that I was not, unfortunately, I wasn't a fan of. I
Never been a
didn't think
fan.
he had the
No,
right mentality, the right attitude.
none of
I
that.
used to see him sulk on the court, and
Real
I
talk.
was like, what is going on? This is
Whole
not
his whole squad be down the floor, bro. He be
whole
soaking them
squad.
outside.
And
I'm
he
telling you,
has
Whole
his
bro.
squad.
head
Brandon
down,
Ingram.
shaking his head.
It
Like,
was always supposed to be Brandon Ingram was supposed to be the one.
yes,
We
Yeah,
that's
see that.
facts.
I was always on the Brandon Ingram train, bro.
yeah.
When it comes to this,
Yes.
because I was like, okay, Kyle Kuzma's all right. And Julius Randle was already showing me at that time, like you said, Kyle. I was like, he's not.
Right.
You don't get off the rock, bro.
Right.
It's Brandon Ingram, though.
Please.
I'm telling you, by
Please.
liaisons who's supposed to carry on, it was supposed to be Brandon
Mhm.
Ingram all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if we're talking about the second biggest news, LeBron James and Bronny James
Let's
finally
keep
hit
this
the
short,
floor
dog.
in the
Let's keep it.
in the preseason. I actually wanted to bring this topic here because
I know you
it's
did.
history. It's history. When you see
Man,
LeBron James
man.
purposely walk to the end of the court to stand by him, because this photo gonna go hard. He
Oh
gonna
yeah.
stand beside Bronny James when he entered the game for no reason but just to get that photo
Gotta get the
opportunity.
photo.
But it was a beautiful thing to see because it's never been done. Now, from a scoring standpoint,
That part. That part.
as people would like to say, let's see the other 55th players' stats. Sure, but you know, I could really be mean, guys. I'm a Celtics fan. I really could, and I'm trying my best not
Go
to be.
ham.
So, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna try and do my best to try and be level-headed.
Man.
Point is, Bronny James, unfortunately, hasn't been playing that well. I think he has 2 points over the last 3 games, and I think he's like, I don't know, 1 for 11 or something like that. And his plus minus has been consistently averaging about 12, minus 12 in the league. But that's okay, right? That's okay. The
It's
question that
preseason.
I have for you was, how did you feel seeing Bronny James and LeBron James on the court at the same time?
I know Tyson don't want to go first, so I'm gonna go ahead and get off. I liked it. From a basketball as a basketball player. Because I like it from a basketball player because it's like it's a never before seen thing. So it's like it's something that everybody else is probably gonna try to strive for in the future. I would do it if it was my son, but at a different I would say at a different level. Like maybe you got to work a little harder. But I mean, he was a 55th pick. We knew he was gonna go to the Lakers. We know the pull that LeBron has had, between the teams over the few years, which I didn't like, but LeBron is still like my number 3 on the list because he's not better than Jordan or Kobe. But
That part.
I don't feel like I do, however, feel like, at this age, as prestigious he is, you gotta kind of just you gotta let him go, bro. Everything he's doing is extra credit, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, I feel like he did his time. I feel like he should have been out after like his Hall of Fame career could have been after that 2016 championship, and we would have been fine. I didn't like he went to the Lakers. That kind of made me hate him a little bit. But I do think that this with him and his son is like one for the ages, honestly. because it's never before seen. We're probably not gonna see it after.
No, I don't see that. I don't see anybody staying in the league that long in order for them to actually have that opportunity. What about you, Tyson? I know you're gonna keep it brief. Get your 30 seconds in.
Look, man, I know the emotional tug that it does for a lot of NBA players, man. Hey, like you said, Bobby, if it was my son, I would love to play along with my son. Would I force him into the NBA the way LeBron did? Absolutely not. Because the tremendous pressure he puts on his child for not earning his spot. You didn't earn this, man. You're coming in knowing, especially in the locker room. Bobby, you know it's all about the locker room presence. Like these people, it's not about social media and all that, cool. But when you come in that locker room, bro, you gotta earn your spot. When you're on the court, you gotta earn these spots. I can't respect you if I know, even if I'm at the end of the bench, you getting more time than me, but I'm scrapping you in practice every day. Like if I'm the 12th pick, bro, I'm mad at the work I'm putting in. I'm putting up numbers every game. But every time I turn on TV, I see Bronny on the screen, averaging 0.2 points a game, one steal and block. And this is all over the news. This is everything. Like that. It's like, yo, what are we doing, bro? This ain't even basketball anymore, man.
I get it, man. I get it.
Like, dog, man, that's nah.
But it's preseason,
Okay.
bro.
It's preseason. We know he's going to the G League. Like we're not even.
Do we?
There is no way
Come on,
Bronny James goes directly to the NBA when the season starts, unless it's for, again, another photo opportunity. But I promise you, well, don't promise, because once it's wrong, I'm gonna have to replay this to the world. But I'm gonna still hang my hat on it. He's going to the G League.
I guarantee you.
I don't think he is, bro.
October 22nd.
Wow.
October 22nd, you're going to see him come off of the bench at the end of the first quarter. Guaranteed.
That's fine.
The last 3 minutes.
Last 3 minutes.
He's going to get his shit
I hear what you guys are saying. Guaranteed. But what I'm saying is, photo opportunity aside, October 23rd, that man has packed his bags and he's sent to the developmental league in order to get right. If he's there October 23rd on that court, then I will gladly be a Celtics fan. I will gladly be a Celtics fan.
Why does he need the developmental league when he's got the person who thinks he could develop anybody in the league? He got his dad right there.
We know that doesn't happen.
We know he got his dad right there. He got his dad.
But we know that does not happen. LeBron James has not developed anyone in this league.
In his mind, he has, though. That's what I'm saying.
He has the best bodies
basketball teacher right there, right?
But think it's LeBron James. His body is like a one of one.
It is.
Yes.
So you can't teach that to a 6'3", 165-pound guy, you know?
No.
At all.
If he's there October 23rd, yo, I'm writing a letter. I feel like I have to write a stern letter or something, but ain't no way. Ain't no way.
I don't know if they're gonna accept your letter being a Celtics fan, man.
It's a grand opening, grand closing type situation if that happens. All right. Now I won't hold on to that too much longer. Speaking of grand closings, the infamous Derrick Rose, number one from the Chicago Bulls, rookie of the year that has gotten MVPs and everything that you could think of in this league besides a ring, unfortunately, has chosen to retire in a respectful, beautiful fashion, where he has, how many years was he in the league? 15? Because I was going to say 16. So he got 15 years in this league, despite the injuries, despite the trials that he was dealing with. And I wanted to salute that man, tip my hat to him for his perseverance in this league. Number one, my goodness.
Yes, sir.
And then for being one of those ones that impacted the game in such a way that you can see the offspring in the league to this day. I look at Russell Westbrook based on how I look at Derrick Rose. I look at somebody as late as Emmanuel quickly, the way that I look at Derrick Rose.
That's a good
That push shot, that ability to get into the paint, just these things as a quote unquote small guy in the league. But y'all are the Chicago fans here, so I want to hear your thoughts. Go ahead, Bobby.
Go ahead, share
Then,
that tear, Bobby.
Tyson, go ahead.
I tear up every time I think about that game in 2012 against the Sixers. I still don't like to talk about it.
Yeah, it's a tough one, bro. I understand,
that
man. Go
that
get a
time in
tissue, bro.
2012 would have, even if we would have lost, I know we would have went to the finals. I know that for sure. Even if we would have lost, the Westbrook that we see today wouldn't have been the Westbrook we would have seen, because Derrick Rose was supposed to be on that Olympic team, and they chose Westbrook when he in Derrick Rose's absence.
Yeah,
that's how we talk about good timing.
Great time.
That single ACL injury in 2012 gave us Westbrook 12 years later. So
that's facts.
That's the impact. Even though it wasn't a good impact, that's the impact Derrick Rose has. Is that we don't have anybody. Oh, we have Westbrook. Let's go ahead.
Right.
Derrick Rose is supposed to be that one of one, player. Like I keep saying, I said at the beginning, the liaison is going to carry it, and we see those in the John Morants, and even though AE is not a point guard, the AEs, the more explosive guards are starting to see like, oh, I can do this too.
Yeah.
And he gave you all that in 2009. For 3 years, he gave you that in 3 years. He's a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer in 3 years. And that's what sets him apart, though, Bobby. Because we're all these players that we're talking about, all these, we thought were going to be superstars. These are all players who had surpassed that point in years, more years than our boy got, because he got 3 years. Look what he did in 3 years.
Youngest MVP ever.
Ever was already a superstar. While these other players, bro, they had almost 4 or 5 years in the game, still weren't superstars, could have elevated to different levels. But what he did in 3 years was one of the most epic things I've seen from any player I've ever witnessed. It was awesome, man, because I was hearing the player talk about him the other day. He said all of your favorite point guards of today, he was giving work to all of them. To the Kyries,
they were scared.
They were scared of him.
Terrified
they
to guard him.
Bro, they were getting sick days. They were taking sick days.
Yeah.
My boy, what they called him?
I seen that interview with John Lucas III.
Yeah.
The Rose flu.
The Rose flu.
That Rose flu.
Because bro,
you get in that lineup, you get in the layup lines, and you see Derrick Rose on my ankle. I'm dealing with something.
Can't make it.
We talking about the strength, the quickness, bro,
getting athleticism.
In the athleticism. What point guard was stopping that at that time?
Right.
What point guard was stopping him? He was giving work
this is
to
09.
Everybody. It's 09.
It's 09 where you got your Currys, your Damian Lillard is probably in at the time, or if I'm a year short from that, John Wall, like all those players that are at that time from 2009 to 2012, you can't. There's no
all
match,
of them work. No match.
He won MVP averaging 24.
Yo, Rajon Rondo.
We've never seen MVP average 24.
Yo.
Yeah,
Rondo, bro, was getting crossed every time
Rondo talks about it, brother.
But it's wild, man. Yo, the work, compilation of the work, man, just within those 3 years, man, was absolutely amazing, man. And shout out, because my boy came back even after the injury.
Right.
Had a lot more years in him. He wasn't as explosive, but was still giving cats work. And that's what I talk about too, Bobby, in terms of changing your game. Because even though he lost his explosiveness, all of a sudden his jumper is looking a little bit better. He's using his body more. He developed a 3-point shot. It's these things that improve over time because of your lack of quickness. That's what John Wall didn't do. He didn't improve his game to adjust to what he lost. I mean, look, our boy came back on the Timberwolves and gave them 50. D Rose
That was
gave him
beautiful.
50, bro. It was an awesome tribute, man, to his game, bro. So
Shout out to D Rose.
shout out, man.
We ain't gonna hold this too long on Danny Green. He retired, guys. I thought he retired last year, if
I
I'm
thought he was
being
gone already,
honest.
bro.
I
I
was like,
was,
I
Yeah, I
thought
thought
he
he was gone
was
after that
retired.
Lakers. I think he was on the Lakers in 2020 when he got
yeah,
that
bro.
championship, right?
Nah, they
No,
gave it to the Sixers, I think.
right,
Right?
bro. I looked that up. I was like, oh, is this an old
I
feat? Is
genuinely
this
thought
old?
I genuinely was like,
I
didn't
was
he
like,
retire like
no, he
2
been
years
gone.
ago, 1 year ago?
I thought he
So
been
Yeah,
gone.
it had to be when he was on the
again,
Lakers. I thought he was gone a long time ago.
Yeah, bro.
and that's fair. That is fair. But again, yeah, one of the better shooters in this league. He was truly a 3 and D. Definitely remember his time with the San Antonio Spurs. That's where I probably liked him the most.
Yeah.
He kind of gave me that
Yeah.
Mike Miller type of body vibe in my mind, just because like he just lugs along when he ran, but he certainly has had some ability to just withstand, and he was durable enough that he stayed in the league for a pretty good stint, and he was impactful as well. But you know, the focus here was Derrick Rose, but again, kudos to Danny Green as well. I don't know
Yeah.
if y'all had any
He
thoughts
said,
on
I
him.
guess if I gotta talk about him.
It was on the list.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
shout out to Danny Green. Shout out to Danny Green on
Yes,
that.
sir.
Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about before we close, of course, is who are you excited to watch this season? There are
Mm.
a few things on this list, and I want y'all to point out one specific one and why. One is the Knicks, one's the Celtics. Y'all know who I'm going with. Lonzo
Atlanta.
Ball with the Bulls, SGA or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and of course the Sacramento Kings or other. Bobby, who are you looking forward to watching and why?
Man, Lonzo all day. Honestly, I
Okay.
feel like we haven't seen him in what, 2 or 3 years because of the
Mhm.
bone bruising and stuff, man. And I feel like as far as the athletic guards go, that's what he was finna be for the Bulls for us, you know what I'm saying? And we never really got to see that pan out, with the squad that we had. And then by the time he's coming back, it's already too late, and now we don't have DeRozan, so the squad is already breaking up. So, we're not gonna really be able to see the potential he could have had as far as like I feel like he was like a great all around guard at the height he was, about 6'5",
Seven.
maybe a little
Mm-hmm.
shorter. Being able to do everything, you pass, shoot,
Mhm.
rebound, and he can lock up. And so,
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's gonna be the most exciting thing I'm gonna want to see. Besides, seeing what the Celtics got over there, really.
That was the toughest part
Okay.
too, Bobby, because we was going on a run before he got injured. Like
Yeah,
we was finally clicking, bro.
yeah.
That was tough. That was tough to see.
Who you got, Tyson?
Yo, man, I'm not even gonna lie, man. So even as much as I love my Bulls, bro, I love chemistry with their basketball. I would love to see these Villanova boys really take it to the next level, man.
Mm.
I mean, bro, there ain't like I said, ain't nothing like stepping on the court with your squad because
Mhm.
your level of confidence, not even being, you don't even have to know or see your players because you already know where they're gonna be at. You already know who's going to break out, bro. You already know who's going to be on that corner, bro. But it's just, bro, there's a difference, and this is what I can't stand about this day and age of basketball too, man, because it's all about going playing with superstars, all going to bring a bunch of stars who never played the game together before, man, to bring them and trying to mesh them together. And we see that doesn't work. Look at the Suns, man. Look at all these other teams, man, that just completely blew out because these are a bunch of cats, man. They're great individually, but come together, bro. There's no chemistry, bro. I mean, it's a lot of the same games, man. A lot of the same. So it's gonna be great, man. Seeing these guys really develop together, man. Professional setting, man, and really take it to the next level. Because that's what's really about. I mean, think about it. We see the teams that are most successful in the NBA, they are together and they build chemistry over time. I mean, look at the
Mhm.
last championship. Look at the Celtics, man. That's what both of them boys did, man, over time. Tatum and Brown, they developed over time, man. You look at the Nuggets, Murray and um,
Jokic.
yeah,
Jokic.
Jokic develop over time, man. That's what it's all about. You can't just throw a bunch of superstars together, man. Things, going to turn into a
Yeah.
championship. So Yep.
It's that blueprint, bro.
Okay.
The Spurs, man. The Spurs is the blueprint of it all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like a lot of
That's
people want it to
facts.
be like the Warriors, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, since Tim Duncan came in, that the system that they've had is like there was like what, maybe 15 years that they didn't miss the playoffs.
At
Mhm.
all. At all.
Like
You're right.
That's a feat in itself, man. Like, people don't
they're doing
realize that.
something
Something right.
in a 3-point shoot, like through like 4 eras of basketball.
Yeah, bro.
They
And
won 35-year-olds against LeBron James, bro.
yeah.
They went to the finals 2 years in a row, and we haven't seen them do that in forever.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
the fact that they won, in 2014, it was a feat in itself to show that like this still works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it can still work,
works.
and it's gonna
Yeah.
work. Like
Yeah.
Tyson said, developed over time. It's been developed since '99.
Mhm.
All the way through, bro. I
And
was
it's
four, I
wild
was
too,
4 years
man.
old.
Yeah. As well too. And I think that's why the Warriors were so successful, because remember, Steve Kerr used to work under Popovich.
Yeah,
So
Mhm.
he brought that
Yeah.
same system over to the Warriors and developed them over time, man. Because think about it, man. Nobody's Green in that position. Nobody saw Green in that position. And then, the Splash Brothers, man, like that all just came together perfectly, and just when most people would have given up on Steph Curry and his ankles, he's like, no, let's go ahead and develop this. So,
Not
Yeah.
giving up on Steph Curry and his ankles. That's wild,
and stuff.
Tyson.
Yeah. Because I didn't
Now,
have my eyes on him at that time at all. It was For
Yeah.
me, it was Brandon Jennings all day. I thought Brandon Jennings would have been what Steph Curry would have been at that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with Tyson. Yeah, I was ready to give up too, because it was Monte Ellis, and it was Monte
it
Ellis
was
against
Monte Ellis for
Yeah,
me.
it
Monte
was.
Ellis and Brandon Jennings was like, I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
These are the
Yeah.
new guards
They
of the
were,
league.
golly, we should have probably put Brandon Jennings or Monte Ellis
Oh
on that.
yeah,
Could have
yeah,
been
Mm,
superstar list for
Hey,
sure.
I
yeah.
love the
That
way he be
meniscus
talking.
tear,
Yeah, I love the way he be talking trash
Achilles,
on Gibbs Arena.
Yes.
I watch every day. I'm on there every day, listening to
Now,
this man.
obviously, y'all know I'm going to pick the Celtics, so I'm going to make it brief. If we could go back to back, that'd be a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
If everyone's healthy, I don't see what's stopping us because Jaylen Brown has gotten stronger. Jason Tatum apparently has fixed his jump shot, even though I haven't really seen that much of a change. It just looks quicker on
Mm.
his release, and he's not bringing it from his waist up. And it looks like it's actually helping. Um, but aside from that, the obvious, I'm actually kind of interested in seeing this Chris Paul and Wemby dynamic. I
I
really
thought it was
want
gonna
to
be Trae
see.
Young.
I hate, not
Chris Paul
hate.
with a pad.
I don't
I
like
do.
Chris
I
Paul.
do.
I
I throw
strongly
that out there.
dislike Chris Paul.
Can't
But
stand
what
that.
we not gonna do is pretend like this guy isn't a point guard in this league. And I definitely want to see how he develops Wemby,
Mm.
because we know that's a prodigy in the making. If barring injuries, he's definitely going to be one of those ones for sure.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would love to see that dynamic under Coach Pop. My goodness,
Yeah,
come on.
that's gonna be different, bro. And that boy got stocky. See that boy
Yeah.
put on weight too, Wimby.
Just
Yeah,
being
he
cheese
got his
tacos,
about
baby.
4 pounds. Yeah, he got that 4 pounds on, and I saw him
Yeah.
do this double pump like Dominique Wilkins kind of
Oh boy, no.
two-handed jam on
Yeah.
from the slowest pump fake from the 3-point line. Took 2 steps and
That's
Two
hilarious.
steps
did that.
and
It was
dunked, and his tippy toes were
yes.
still
He
on the
wasn't
floor. It's
even
crazy.
trying,
He's
yo. So I really want to see that. It really might be something I'm actually excited to see, believe it
yeah,
or not.
Nah, facts. I
Um,
agree.
yeah. I
but
think,
yeah,
man.
go ahead, Dyson.
I think your Celtics are on revenge tour, bro. Too. I think
I would hope
Tatum
so.
and Brown gonna play with a chip on their shoulder, man. The way
I would
Tatum
hope so.
got a blackball, man. Well, both of them really got blackballed
Snub, both
in
of
the
them.
Olympics.
Yeah.
They throw Tatum on the bench. Don't even let Brown come through, and then you don't even put Brown on the All NBA, man. I think they coming for y'all, man. They coming for
Yeah.
everybody.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I
They
got
are, bro.
another interview to make. But that'll do it probably today for this Clutch Buckets podcast.
Yeah.
Bobby, we appreciate you coming
Appreciate you,
through,
my
man, and
dog.
breaking
Man, I
bread
love it,
with
bro.
us.
I love
I
talking
love
sports all the
anything
time.
basketball talk for sure. So yeah, thank you all for joining. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. My name
Please
is
do.
Kyle Spence,
I'm Josh Tyson.
Man, I'm Bobby
and this
Freeman,
is
man.
Bobby Freeman, and we out.
Let's get
Peace.
it.
Peace,
Till
brother.
next time, y'all.
For sure, brother. Thanks for having me.